as I imagine you have probably already seen, I am working on getting myself prepared for integrated dynamics so that we can finally finish off the chapter for logistics. This is also just a really neat mod overall. There are just a lot of different things to it that I don't know that I'm really all that familiar with. So we're going to get to play around with this a lot today because I just don't know much about this mod whatsoever. I know that there's a lot of cool components to it and that it sort of breaks the borders between like internal technical Minecrafty kinds of things and you know, kind of the exact opposite there. But yeah, now fortunately we are so lucky that the mod pack developers have really worked very hard to get things nicely integrated for us here. So we don't really have all that many things that we have to use, like only, how do I phrase this? There are a lot of items in this pack that could be problematic to get, like if we had to use the squeezer that we just got. But because of a lot of the recipes here, so if we take a look at the squeezer is used to get mineral. This mineral resin I'm already getting from our fluid extractors, which is why we're getting crystallized mineral already, is because we're basically just kind of skipping that step. And so there are a lot of things, a lot of components of this that I think make this a lot easier for us because Enigmatica 6 has so many different mod integrations that are just truly helpful. So right now I'm just kind of zooming through these because we're going to play with them once we get everything done. But there are a lot of different components here that are just pretty cool. So looking here, we're going to need a couple of crafting tables. We'll go ahead and get those auto crafting. At some point they should be done, right? Yep, there we go. We'll need a crafting interface. So again, 2 more crafting tables. We will need a crafting job. We'll need another display panel. Let's go ahead and grab some of these. I've got the mineral berries and stuff growing in here. You can see that our buffer is doing pretty nicely, and we're doing pretty good overall here in our system. And as we want to improve the speeds here, we can just do time in a bottle and quickly get a whole bunch more by means of the crystallized mineral. So now looking at this guy, we have, I think, a lot of what we need. We need more mineral glass. This has been the biggest pain in the butt so far, is taking our mineral glass and turning it into something. So what I may do is break you and you, and well, okay, maybe not you, because you should have some. There we go. I didn't want to waste a whole bunch, but I definitely think that this would be better if it was a tank. And we've gotten a lot of different kinds of tanks so far, so maybe we should look into, I don't know, RF Tools has a tank. I've never really considered it as a tank in the past. But yeah, it holds 32 buckets. I don't know. I guess I haven't used RF Tools utility in just that long. But having this as a tank, I think, is going to be our best bet because we need things like mineral glass. But unfortunately, you can't like revert these recipes at all. This, now that it's in a crystallized form, it's in a crystallized form. There's no going back. So with this setup, it looks like we have about a bucket in here. Let's go ahead and grab that bucket, and we will go ahead and get that set up. So if we wanted to make the mineral glass, this is created through our drying basin. So you need glass and our handy dandy fluid. I think like that should be the case. And this should eventually dry out. And there we go. So that gets us the mineral glass, and that's going to get us a crafting job terminal. This will manage and overview all crafting jobs in the network. Super neat. It looks like there's a lot of things that this mod is capable of that are sort of along the lines of logistic pipes. So I'm really excited to get into this. It looks like we got a reinforced chest from Enigmatica, also exciting. I believe these can get a secondary upgrade with a printed circuit board. This is quite the process, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this, or this. Don't miss these processes. I mean, like they're fine. It's just I forgot how much work went into a lot of pneumatic craft. So I look forward to when we get to that though, because it's very cool. So there are a couple of different sides, as you can see detailed here in the quest line, and just sort of overall in integrated dynamics. So first piece is just items and item transportation. The second piece is RF transportation and RF utilization. So there's energy interfaces, energy input and output, fluid interfaces, fluid inputs and outputs for the fluid side of things. NBT extractor. This allows you to grab data from a NBT, rather, what am I trying to phrase? If something has NBT data, for example, this guy, and we can actually do something with this right now, I think that would be pretty cool. This tank doesn't tell us how much it has in it until we shift click, so we can use NBT to figure this out. And maybe that would be a good thing to try to get into today. I think that'd be really fun. Let's see if we have any. Yes, what I thought. There are a couple of instances, and it's really annoying, where there are some duplicate items that just don't stack for these pipes. And they just never will. Oh, well, apparently sometimes they will. But, like, these are hardened and meiotic. Okay, so it looks like we fixed most of it. It's just bizarre sometimes how these don't combine. I wish I knew why that was. So anyways, as we kind of further continue into this this lovely, lovely quest line, let's look at maybe an NBT extractor. And I can't remember, do these have any form of a controller? I don't think they do. I don't think they do. They just kind of work, right? So let's try to get one of these. I have no idea if we have even anything close to what we need for this. We're going to need a logic programmer, which is another one of these, and a crafting table. So I think we can do that. And then that gets us an NBT extractor. And if we put it up against something, ooh. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into something here. This is an NBT extractor. To start, place a variable of type NBT into the left slot. So we need a variable of type NBT. So this is a variable card. And I don't remember. There's a thing you can do with these, I believe. Let's see. I really don't remember. Let's take a look at the book. We have a book for this, right? So if we were to take a look in our... Surely we have the... There we go. Integrated dynamics. There's a NB... Ooh, this is quite difficult to read. Okay. Interesting. This is just really interesting. Let me take a look at this and see what we can find. Okay, I forgot about this one specific detail. So if we go to get ourselves a new logic programmer, the logic programmer is how we can program a lot of our different components. I think we might have enough of these, right? Yep, we do. And the logic programmer can be used to get us these different types. So if I put this one in here and grab NBT, you can see it is there. And if we want to say what kind of NBT we want on it, we have to kind of know what NBT we're looking for. This is going to be kind of an issue because I don't know what we're looking for. There's no specific kind of NBT that we would kind of keep our eye out on or for if we don't know exactly what it is we're looking for anyway. So there are NBT components on this, and I don't know exactly what they are. So I'd be curious to see about getting ourselves a reader. I believe there is a block reader. Reads block information. Let's get one of these. I believe these will tell us everything that's on there. And then there's a display, right? Or a screen? Yep, just a that's not it. Just a display panel. Here we go. So yeah, there's something pretty standard. We'll grab these. I don't think we're going to have enough. We may need... This is already so slow, and I wish it could be faster. But looks like we will kind of get our way through eventually. So if we grabbed... Yeah, we're already out. Well, this seems to be helping. Anyways, we can do this and grab our cable and do block reader here with some cabling. And I would normally put this onto a display. Now, what we can do is we can check a couple of things like tile entity NBT. And it looks like that actually gives me some of this information that I was looking for as well. So let's put this here and just see what we find. Part with ID 0 could not be found in current network. Okay, so let us do this. Here we go. Here we go. This is cool. So we don't even really need the display. I think we'll be okay without it. We can break these two, and we can now browse the details of this tank, because this tank here has resin in it, but until I sneak and look at it, I have no way of knowing. There's no user interface, and the renderer on the tank doesn't tell me this. Of course, we will want a display for this eventually. Right now, we can't afford that, but you can see there is info and then tank and then fluid name and fluid amount. This data is what I'm probably going to be looking for the most. And basically, place a variable into the right slot to receive its value. This will give us a way to get these data back. So if we look at integrated dynamics and grab we need a string and an integer. If we grab I was going to say, surely somewhere in here there's a string. Yep, beautiful. And then one for integer. We can do the following. We can tell you extract root info tank fluid name, and we can tell you extract root info tank. So root info tank fluid amount, which is ever increasing. As we get our display panel, I think we are possibly getting somewhere with the mineral. This is so sad. I would honestly just be better off grabbing some bone meal and just growing some of my own. So let's maybe do that instead. I think we may have a better time there. So we'll just do a couple of these. I think that should be enough, right? Because we will need... We'll need that to get a static light panel, 2 static light panels, and one of these guys. Gets us a display panel. That gets us a display panel. And so now, if we head over to here again, we go ahead and put everything that we have extra in here for now. We should be able to put a display on here that tells us, and we'll probably want 2 displays, right? Oops, I did not want to tile or speed that guy up. But if we put a cable here and that boy there, we can tell you to display something, and we can do one of 2 things. We can tell you to display a string, for example, what's in there. You can see here it is integrated dynamics mineral resin. That's kind of boring. Or we can do an amount. So here we know exactly how much we have, and I believe you can even do calculations on this value. There are, you can already kind of tell, right, that there's so many things, but there are operators. So we can do an operator variable here, like so. I actually don't know that I can undo this. Let's see. Oh, you can. Nice. So if we did operator. Oh, these are logical operators. Never mind. Wait, are they? I see an ellipses at the bottom, and I'm not exactly sure. I think that's just logical operators. Let's do, yes, divided. So now what we can do is we can take this card out, and we can take this, go to integer. We'll set the value to 1,000, right? Because we want this to look like an integer that is set 1,000, and then this is an integer that is dynamic based on our logic here. So if we come over here and do our division operator, like so, then this is going to take this variable card and divide it by this static value and get us this result. And if we put this in here, we should see variable ID with 3 and 4. Right. There is a variable thing, isn't there? A variable store? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I don't know that I have enough, but I can get more. Let's get our blast chiller. And some buckets. And some speed. So let's get a variable store. And this is basically just going to let us keep this data floating around for as long as we may need it. Looks like we will need a little bit more. And that's because we had a variable that we referenced before, right? That variable was this one, the one that comes from our logic operator. But unfortunately, since it's a variable, we have to keep it somewhere or else it has no way of knowing that this is even here in the first place. So that is something worth remembering. I am going to move a couple of these things underground so that way we can keep things nice and tidy here. I'm probably also going to move the display and just attach it directly to the front. And what we can do, or maybe even do it to the bottom. So we have a block reader. This is going to read data from the block. Our NBT extractor. And the reason I'm doing this is because we have facades, right? So we have the tile entity NBT already saved in here. I've just got to find it. Here we go. Part with ID 0. So let's redo that. Tile entity NBT. Beautiful. Looks like it's variable ID 6 now, so that makes sense. I will have to tell you now the variable card here, which we will, let's go ahead and just reset most of these for now, because I think most of them will need to be reset, which is just a fault of my own for not having the foresight here. Let's grab info tank amount and put that here. And we should have info tank amount. Perfect. This is our variable card. And I believe actually if we did integer amount, nope, I don't think it matters. Now we will need a variable store to make sure that our variables remain to be seen through here. So we will have this and this, but we will need to also use our logic router here to do that division operator one more time. So we will take the number, which is from our raw bucket amount divided by 1,000 to get, like, this is millibuckets, this is buckets, and we'll store that like so. And so now if I had a display, you should work. ID 7 and, okay, so maybe both of these have to be in here. Yep, looks like it, because this, yeah, okay, so both of these will have to be in here in our variable store, absolutely no problem. If I destroy you and we just plop you out a little bit further, we can put you right here with that same variable card in there. And that's going to tell us exactly how much we have stored up. I wonder if these can be rotated. I am tempted to say yes. I also wonder where my morphing tool got to. Yes, they can be rotated. And then there are facades. And the facades can be combined with most blocks, it looks like, to cover up any of your work. Just like that. And in the matter of no time at all, we've created a system that allows us to store a buffer of resin. And as this goes up, let's time and bottle these guys. Oh, not those guys. And as this number goes up, right, we're at 1.8, 1.9, this should go to 2. So now we know exactly how many buckets we have in here at any time, all using all these advanced components. So sure, we could have used maybe some comparators or something more advanced. We could have used a better tank. Like, there are 100 different solutions to this problem. But Integrated Dynamics has this cool ability to go through and read these really advanced and really detailed attributes of how much energy is stored in the machine, how much energy is stored in the tool before extracting it. You can do things like, automatic refill stations for your tools if you want to toss them into an ender chest and let them get refilled really quickly. So overall, the mod has always just been really this fascinating and really helpful platform for people to go through and do these advanced constructions with. And I feel bad that all this time I really have not used it all that much, but I am very, very, very happy that I get to use it now because there's so much to it. And apparently I do not have my morphing tool stored within my filter, so we're going to have to fix that. It's right there, but I think I have a new wrench. So if I do this and now put you in there, yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, so overall, that's pretty much that. So we've been really busy this episode getting through a lot of the different types of advancements that we have in here because there's just so many things. And I feel really happy with how this episode went just because of how many different things we worked on between a couple of the storage achievements, but also, and most of them we already had, we just didn't get them transferred over, but also getting our Britannia set up a little bit better with Mjolnir, as heavy as that thing is. And it's really frustrating because I would love if I could just use this, but I can't. And I think that's kind of annoying. But it is what it is. So for now, I think I'm going to call it an episode, and I'll see you in the very next one. Thanks a lot.